Wagwan me people, quick thing before we kick off. The views where you hear upon the Father to Father podcast, them strictly for why, the hosts, guests and contributors. Them now represent Catholic Notebook, Spirit Stream Studios, the Diocese, University, or any affiliated groups. You see me? And remember, this podcast is strictly for adult ears, so listen up with discretion.
One of the things, you know how hard it is to give a homily, right?
Yeah,
because you got to do it all the time. And when we were in seminary, it was one of those things I loved doing because it's like, hey, yo, you and I just roll out of bed. We gave homilies. It was fun. Everybody else was like stressing. It was fun. But some people, for whatever reason, they remind you every once in a while that homiletics is an art.
You're going to fry some chicken, you're going to need some. You're going to fry some fish, you're going to need some. You're going to fry some vegetables, you're going to need some. You're going to fry some bacon, you need some. No. You don't need no oil when you fry bacon, because what? Bacon has its own oil. I want you to look over at somebody and say, me like bacon, baby.
Glory.
Hey,
Glory.
hey, and just so you know, you're gonna produce your own oil too. And if you pay us $12.99, it's gonna come for you. Play that music.
Navigating life's challenges, never the same. In different vocations, wisdom they share. Audition and purpose everywhere. So tune in, relax, let your spirit find guidance from the heart and peace of mind.
Welcome to the Father podcast, everyone. I am Dr. Giovanni, and with me is my main man, my right hand,
Father Greg Lambert.
Hey. I'm telling you, homiletics is hard for some people, man.
It really is. It must be out here fried chicken and oil.
It really is, man. It really is. But
It's an art form.
It is. Man, speaking of like frying chicken in oil and all that stuff, like I never understood why people use a lot of excess oil to fry chicken.
What a segue. Okay.
I never understood that. It's just been one of those things of like, and mainly because like I think it's because we're Caribbean. Because you only have like a certain amount of resources for stuff.
Yes. You're wasting all that oil. You don't even have much oil to fry that chicken. What you doing? That's a waste. That's a waste of our things. We'll go buy more oil. It's cost me $14.99.
You understand? I had to walk 20 miles to get it, and for real, they had to go 20 miles to get the oil.
But now we live in real society, so they're gonna send you on your bike to Walmart to get more oil.
Get more oil. They come back, and it's like whatever. But like, yeah, I don't know. It's just weird. It's just weird. I don't know. But air frying is a thing.
No, it is. I haven't used my air fryer yet. I have it. It's completely clean. I don't want to use it because I don't want to clean the air fryer. You
know what you have to get? Either a there's those liners that you can do, but if you don't want to get the liners, get coffee filters. Is it
coffee filters?
Yeah, just get like a couple of coffee filters and just put a couple of layers of coffee filters on the bottom, and it serves as the same purpose. You can also put aluminum foil and like parchment paper is another good one that you can put on the bottom of it, and it keeps it relatively clean. And all you have to do every so often, make sure you wipe it down, especially if you cook chicken, because your sister-in-law will kill you if you don't wash it down after you're cooking chicken.
Yeah, that'll be the end of me. That'll be my martyrdom.
Yeah, that'd be a quick story too. What happened? He cooked chicken. What?
Yeah. But he didn't tell her, and then she used the things that she was cooking, and there was blood everywhere.
First black priest dies from cooking chicken.
I hate that fits. Like, we can't. Like, I would need a different story to come out. Like, on the autopsy, they would have to lie.
Yeah, they would have to. It's like, yo, could you not? For
the church, really, for church and Black history. Yeah. I can't die that way.
Yeah, just be like, oh, mystery unknown. It's like, okay, we got you. Oh, jeez, man. You ready for the first segment?
Yeah.
It's everybody's favorite segment.
It really is everyone's favorite segment. I go through a lot of emotions during this.
You really do. That's why we love it so much.
Give me time, let me speak, don't doubt. The truths in my words, the winds will shout. All our eyes can hear me out. It's not just a seal.
But hear me out. Is this grounds for annulment? Very basic line, very clean line. So what does it say? My name is Michael. I'm 32 years old, and my wife, Sarah, and I have been married for 8 years. She's been an incredible woman, kind, devout, always full of joy. We built a strong, faith-centered life together, and I truly believe God brought us together for a reason. But lately, something has my attention that I couldn't ignore. It's been eating at me. I'm genuinely worried it's a sign of something deeper. Here's the situation. Sarah and I have a tradition of grocery shopping every Saturday together. We make it a whole morning out of it. First coffee, then the farmer's market, then we finally we go on a big grocery store run. I thought it was one of those little rituals that brought us closer together as a couple. Last weekend, while we were unpacking groceries, I noticed something odd. Sarah opened the snack drawer, and right there, in plain sight, was a bag of off-brand...
Off-brand what? Off-brand what? The people want to know. The people need to know off-brand what? Giovanni, off-brand what?
That's Dr. Giovanni. I didn't go to school for 10 years for you to call me Giovanni. No, you're the only person that can call me Giovanni. Anyway, no, tortilla chips.
Okay.
Off-brand tortilla chips.
Tortilla triangles? Like, is that what they were?
Not the organic, stone-ground, lightly salted ones we always buy together.
Super specific.
These were the bright yellow, crinkly, and practically screaming poor life choices.
Yo, they taste fine. What is this? You put some sauce on that thing, you're not going to know the difference. I think he comes from an affluent neighborhood. Sorry. Anyway, continue.
I asked her about it. She got flustered and said, "Oh, I just grabbed one. I grabbed them one day when you weren't feeling well. They were on sale." But here's the thing. I always go grocery shopping with her. We made a point of it since we were dating. So when exactly did she buy these? And why didn't she tell me? It feels sneaky. Almost like...
Almost like, can I regale you with the last episode? When we were talking about real sneaky when homeboy got left on the side of the road?
You know what?
Bro.
It is what it is.
Sorry. Continue.
Almost like she's hiding things from me. I couldn't stop thinking about it. Is this a crack in our foundation?
I'm sorry. I'm going to stop. Continue, please.
All right, I got to keep it together. Is it a crack in our foundation, a breakdown in trust, or am I being overly sensitive? Yeah. I couldn't keep it to myself. So I went to talk to Father Patrick at our parish. He's always been a great guide for me. I explained the situation step by step, emphasizing that this felt symbolic of something deeper. He listened, or at least I think he was listening. Partway through, I noticed his breathing had changed. He started wheezing, gripping his desk. I asked if he was okay. He was waving me off, but it was getting worse. He turned red. His shoulders were shaking, and then he collapsed in his chair. Turns out he had a reaction, not to my story, but to the effort it took for him not to contain himself. The doctor said he went into anaphylactic shock due to lack of oxygen.
Oh my gosh. What?
And now, wait a minute. The way he wrote this, I got this. The priest was laughing his behind off and was just like waving him off, and then almost passed out because he had no oxygen.
Yeah.
But the way he put it was just kind of like, no, I'm having a reaction. And no. He was laughing. And it's like, he went into anaphylactic shock due to the lack of oxygen. And now I'm sitting here wondering, maybe I was too dramatic about the chips. Still, this doesn't seem trivial to me. Marriage is built on honesty and transparency.
I almost had me. I thought we were going to turn a corner.
If she's capable of sneaking off-brand chips into our home, off-brand tortilla chips into our home, what else might she be hiding? But hear me out. Is this really a sign of something deeper? Or do I need to let it go? I'd love your guidance. Do you need a recap? Or do you get it?
Just for the listeners at home, if you listen halfway through this, give them a recap.
All right. So, I don't know. His name is Michael? Yeah. So, Michael's married to Sarah. Michael and Sarah have this wonderful little thing that they have going on. They've been married for 8 years. You know, he's like, yeah, she's a lovely woman. We're devout Catholics, you know, all that stuff. They go to the farmer's market and then they have a whole Saturday morning ritual type of thing, which is awesome in terms of like couple building type of thing.
Yeah.
And relationship building. It's like, yeah, you know, this is something that we have to do and let's do it together and let's be mindful of it. And it's like, okay, great. So they drink coffee in the morning, they go to the farmer's market, and then they have a huge supermarket run. And then on the way back from one of their supermarket runs, she opens up the drawer, and then there is, as he puts it, off-brand tortilla chips. Not the organic, store-ground, lightly salted ones like we always buy together. Like, okay. It's like, and then he calls them Poor Life Choices chips, like, apparently. So, like, okay, fine. And then from there, he is going into a tizzy because now it's like, well, she doesn't want to say where she got it from. And she's just like, yeah, I just got on a day that you didn't come with me. And he's like, but here's the thing. I always go with you. So when did you buy them? And so she's just like, just let it go. Like, and then he goes to the pastor. Or I'm assuming he's a pastor. Maybe it's not. He just goes to a priest and he talks to the priest. And then the priest almost like dies laughing, like literally almost dies laughing.
I literally almost died laughing too. I didn't have to go into shock, but like I was laughing pretty hard.
And then he's like, well, I don't know. And he's like, marriage is built on transparency and honesty. Like she snuck these chips into our home. So what else could she be sneaking around doing?
It started with the chips, and then it was our whole marriage.
Like, so that's where we're at.
Okay, so 2 things. One, the question is this a sign of something deeper? Yes, but it's a sign of something deeper from the guy's perspective, because if this is enough to shake your marriage,
For 8 years,
an 8-year marriage, there is something deeper happening here, because my next question would be, if I was the priest, after, why did you contact me for this? Because if I have a Saturday morning meeting to hear this, I'm going to be upset. I'm just letting you know. I'm going to be thoroughly upset. I'm not going to let you know I'm upset, but I'm going to ask you, so why are we here today? That's going to be the most pastoral and most charitable way I can ask. Why are we here today?
Okay, hold on. I'll be Michael.
All right.
You be You be you. I'll be Michael. All right. And this is going to be role play.
Come in.
Hey, Father.
Oh, you must be Michael. Come in, sit down. Here, I got some tissues over here. Tell me what's going on.
Thank you, Father. I'm sorry. This is just...
No, it's okay. Please take your time. Take your time.
Father, I love my wife. We've been together for 8 years, and
oh wow,
I thought I knew her, and we did things together, and I've been there every step of the way. And this weekend, last week, days are blurring together. I'm sorry. Last week, I came home after we did our normal Saturday grocery run type of thing that we normally do.
Yeah, sweet.
And we opened up the drawer and I found it, Father. I just and I asked her, like, what is this? And she was flustered. She'd had no answer, and she just was going around and around and around, and I don't know what to do. She.
And what was it that? I'm sorry. No, take your time.
Off-brand tortilla chips, Father. She got Walmart brand off-brand tortilla chips. We've been a healthy household for years.
Okay.
And we don't even shop at Walmart.
So just so I understand, I'm going to recap exactly what I heard, and you let me know if this is correct.
Yes. Yes.
This strong bond that you have with your wife of 8 years has been built on trust and earnest love.
Yes. Yes, trust and loyalty, and that's what marriage is built on. And she violated my trust, and she violated her loyalty, and she brought those poor life choices into our home.
And the poor life choices are the tortilla chips.
Yes.
Walmart brand.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that we're on the same page there.
Yeah.
So my next question is, what does this say about your marriage?
I don't know. Is she out there just sleeping with men?
Okay, I'm not sure how that we got to that jump.
First, it's the off-brand tortilla chips. Next, it's the lingerie. After that,
I would have lost it. That priest was better than me. That he went into shock because I would have let it out. I'm like, what? I'm not seeing the jump.
I mean, you know what? That's pretty much it.
He must have had a great life of relationships.
That's pretty much it.
I kind of want to know what this is like from Sarah's perspective.
Yeah.
Like, I'm very interested to see how she is processing this.
You know what? This actually leads us into the topic that we're going to talk about today. So you want to hop right into it?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Give me time, let me speak, don't doubt. The truth's in my words, the winds will shout. All I'm asking is hear me out. It's not just a tale, it's like say my name, don't be scared now. Let's talk about it. Don't hold back, put it all out. I wanna know what's on your mind. You can't keep playing with the time. Let's talk about it. We don't talk it all.
So let's talk about it. So the topic today is we're talking about rules, expectations, and guidelines within a relationship.
Yeah.
And how that works together with our own personal boundaries and everything like that. So, you know, a lot of things that happen with it. We had an episode very early on where we talked about boundaries, and we established that, you know, boundaries are yours and you have to establish your own boundaries, and that helps guide your behavior. It tells you where those limits are. But even within that, your boundaries do not set the rules for other people. Your boundaries are only setting rules for yourself.
Yeah.
But in a relationship, the other aspect of that is the idea that there are going to be some ground rules. So if we agreed upon something in the relationship, then it should remain. And there are some things that are going to be hard and fast, and there are some things that are going to be like semi-permeable rules, which will be more like guidelines that use your best judgment. For the most part, we're just going to keep them there. And so in light of this story and in light of things that most couples have to deal with, I think one of the biggest things that we kind of get back to is when you have set expectations as a couple and you're both meeting those expectations because you verbalize them and you said, hey, you know, it is what it is. At a certain point, there is this unspoken pressure that tends to build up. And it happens in one of two things. It's either one of the couple feels as though the expectation that was set and agreed upon is unrealistic, unneeded, or restricts their behavior. On the flip side of that, or it's just the pressure that starts to build up comes because there is a repeated failure that is seen within the relationship. So you have two sides of that. So it's either, hey, this is an unrealistic, metric, or it's an unneeded metric, or it's something that, what's the purpose of it? It doesn't have a purpose. Or on the flip side of it, it's like, yeah, you know what? We're failing constantly. And that partner that's receiving the failure, or is the one who had mainly was the driving force in establishing that expectation, is not seeing the lifestyle in which they were hoping to see through that expectation. And so you have this weird dynamic that goes on where we don't want to necessarily say anything to upset the apple cart within the relationship. But then at the same time, in order for things to fundamentally change, we're going to have a very difficult conversation. So it's this back and forth that we're having with not only with each other, but with ourselves on, do we say something or do we not say something? Do we move in this direction or do we not move in this direction? And a lot of couples allow that pressure to build up over time. And then because it builds up over time, they find an outlet for that. And this is where you see infidelity start. This is where you see behaviors like the one in the couple where she's just like, I'm just going to go buy these chips myself. She probably has been buying chips for the last 8 years and forgot it was in this drawer. And maybe. So like, it's like,
or maybe they've been going to the store for 8 years and she made the realization that she forgot something, and she knew it would be a whole entire thing of 3 to 4 hours if they went to the grocery store again. So she just, in the middle of the night, got real steamy.
No, that's not gonna. Based on the way he reacted for the chips, that's not gonna happen. He's there with like a paper list in case there's no Wi-Fi, in case the phone data doesn't work. So we have a paper list to double check, and he's the person in the line that has it coded inside of their cart. Like, yeah,
that's exhausting. No. I'm not trying to judge the dude for living his life. Go ahead. You guys seem like you're really happy. We haven't heard from the other side yet because, it's two parts, two sides to the story, especially with marriage. But that sounds really exhausting for one bag of chips. That's all I'm saying. That's a lot of emotion to be poured out.
Well, and the thing is, it's not the bag of chips.
It's definitely not.
It's not the bag of chips. And like at the end of the day, it goes back to what I was like setting the table for. It was just basically like the expectation part of it. Expectations, rules, guidelines. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at it, when you have expectations for somebody, or you have expectations for a relationship, or you have expectations for whatever, these are things that kind of guide our behavior at the end of the day. And it really does put pressure on us to conform to one thing or the other. And it forces you to be on one path. That's what expectations do. They're kind of like bumpers on a bowling lane, where it doesn't allow you to fall into the gutter.
Yes.
They do everything it possibly can do to prevent that from occurring. I mean, can you still get a gutter ball? Yeah, but you got to be a certain type of special to get that type of thing. Like, because the majority of people with a bumper can bowl pretty effectively.
Oh, for sure.
And so, like, that's kind of the same thing with the relationship and expectations. It's like, well, if we do that, that'll be fine. But the problem is you have a discussion that needs to be had because you're not in a relationship with yourself. You're in a relationship with someone else. And that's a breathing individual that have their own thoughts, their own feelings, and their own reactions to things. So how do you navigate through that without having conflict? And people are so conflict averse that they don't realize that everything you do is going to end up in a conflict anyways. The idea of conflict is just simply a disagreement. Mm-hmm. The fact that you and I don't agree on our favorite type of ice cream, that's conflict.
Yeah.
But is that conflict the same type of conflict if, for example, I were to start living a non-Catholic lifestyle and we were still spending time together?
Yeah, it'd be a deep conflict.
Right. Because you're my brother and you're like, hey, yo, I can't have a family member not living a Catholic lifestyle and I'm a priest going out here going like, hey, yeah, you should do this. I was like, nah.
Definitely not. Like, we're on the same podcast. Like, what do I look like? What do I look like?
Right? So, I mean, that's ultimately it. And so, like, and I'll pose this to you, like, when you're dealing with couples, because you and I both have to deal with couples constantly. Mm-hmm. What is it that you're finding a lot as being like that issue that tends to come up repeatedly for the couples that you've seen? Mm. And then I'll tell you the things that I've seen. I wonder if it's the same thing. I don't know if it is the same thing.
Well, to be perfectly honest, it's only been a few marriages, but even before priesthood, when I was a deacon and as a seminarian, a lot of the issues I would see my friends, my really good friends who were going through the same relationship struggles, the issue was wrapped around expectation. And when I say expectation, I mean in the Catholic world, marriage is a sought after and beloved sacrament. There is such a love and wonder around what marriage was created to be and also what it could be, but not a lot of understanding and tolerance for what it is right now.
Wait, hold on. That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
Like, that is a very interesting point.
And when let me unravel what I mean by that.
Yeah.
I mean, for the Catholic, and it's different from Protestant, it's different from all these other religions, because for the Catholic, one of the 7 sacraments, what God has established himself, that he would choose a people and bring them into himself and always love them and cherish them and take care of them. That's what marriage is and representative of, right? So when a man and a woman come together, whether you're a man or a woman, there are different roles that come within the marriage. And so there is this build up trying to get to that very sacrament, that very vocation. When you finally find your person, which is hard out here in these streets, dog, is dating is tough for people our age, right?
Yeah, I can't imagine dating
I
right now.
couldn't imagine having to go through all the stuff, not just the dating apps, but it's the false expectations of this is what everything that a man has to be, this is everything that a woman has to be. And if you're not that, then you're gone, regardless of the other person is that themselves.
Yeah.
So when they finally find their person, which is like going through a war, you find your person, you make the commitment, you propose, you guys are extremely ready. And then all of these external floodings start to come through. Your path, your warrior's journey to find your person and everything that you've prayed for and everything you prepared yourself for is now going to start embracing and running up against this other person who was doing the same exact thing you were. And the discernment's going to continue. Now, the problem with that is if you have told yourself, this is my perfect wife, this is the person that I'm meant to marry, this is the person that God has called me to marry. He said, I'm meant to be married. Here's my person. This person is going to look this way. They're going to act this way. They're going to do all these things perfect. And the other person's doing the same exact thing. And you guys don't know what those expectations are, or you've talked about them once or twice, but you don't know how deep that runs into your mind, into your heart. The first time ever that person decides to go over your expectations or fall below your expectations, it's going to shake who you are to your very core.
Well, you see, and this is my thing with expectations. Is the same thing with boundaries. Like the expectations is a bargaining chip. Like that's what it is within a relationship. It's a bargaining chip. It's like,
That's what dating is.
Well, yeah, it's like, yo, listen, if we're going to be in a relationship together, this is what I expect. And now the thing is, if you expect something, then you have to be worth the expectation. Like, I'm sorry, you can't expect someone to give you something and you're not worth that thing. Or you don't have something to confirm the value of what you are expecting. So, for example, I can't be a Ford Focus that's like half beaten up and dark blue going like, yo, with manual windows.
It was a time in my life I had no money.
whoa. I wasn't talking about you.
No, you're talking about me. It's a very specific example with a dent on the left side. All right.
With the windshield going, 2010. No. But for real though, like I can't be a Ford Focus and demand Lamborghini money.
Or give me a motorcade because I'm on my way to mass and I'm about to be late.
Right.
Who am I?
But that is what I'm saying. Is like there needs to be a certain level of realism within the expectation in and of itself. And I think there's been such a departure. The reason why dating sucks right now is because there's been such a departure from reality. There's been such a departure from reality. And the reason why I stopped you, I'm like, you make a good point, because I've had this struggle when it's come to marriage. I've had people out off the record come to me and say like, should I get married? And this is not in a counseling session, just like personal, like, Dr. G, Like, you know me, you understand me, we're colleagues, you know, it is what it is. Should I get married? And I hesitate. And I'm like, if you want to get married, get married. It's like, don't give me that answer. I'm asking you straight up. Like, is there a benefit to get married? I'm like, I can't in good faith tell you to get married.
Based on who they are.
Yeah. Well, two things. One, based on who they are. But the second thing is based on how relationships have gone. And just what I've seen dealing with couples over the last 10 years. Like, I can't. I've been dealing with couples over a decade, man. Like, over a decade.
That's
dealing
a
with
lot.
couples. It's like 11 years, dog. Just couples after couple after couple after couple. And the trends that I've seen in practice versus the trends that I'm seeing in research. Like, when you're looking this data stuff up, it's like men and women are drifting apart from each other. Satisfaction in relationships are at an all-time low.
Yeah.
You're seeing like divorce rates increase. You're seeing all these different things happening. And to me, I'm like, I can't in good faith tell someone like, yeah, get married. And I'm like, I don't know why that, because I could never really articulate like why not. But when you said like, yo, it's not the same. Like, it really isn't the same, because like the beautiful nature of the sacrament, the beautiful nature of the marital sacrament, and like
It's also a grace.
Yeah. But it's like, it kind of feels like you're throwing mud on a white dress. Like, dating and the way that people treat relationships and how they treat each other within relationships and how they just completely try to force the relationship to just be a vehicle for them to build themselves up.
Yeah.
Is like throwing mud on a white dress. And you're like, yeah, I guess you're married, but why?
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know what the purpose of that would be. And so like, I struggle sitting there going for like young guys and being like, yeah, get married. Because I'm like, I don't necessarily want to be like, yeah, you know, you're going to find, like, because I don't know that. I can't give them the guarantee that like, yeah, if you work through certain issues, that's going to be, no, because that's never going to be a guarantee. You need someone to like be on the same page with you. And even then, you're going to have to sacrifice a lot more than you get back in the relationship as a man.
Oh, yeah.
And so like, I'm just like, I don't know. And I could have never articulated it. I was like, when you're like, yeah, you know, in principle, marriage, beautiful thing. In practice, recently, it not so much. It's changed. Like the marital practice, not the sacrament of marriage, but the actual people getting together and having to work through issues and stuff. That aspect of marriage has fundamentally changed, and we haven't adapted to that. And we're continuing to try to force that old image onto this new thing. It's like putting new wine into old lambskins. Yeah. That's the first image that comes to mind. I'm like, as I'm saying, I'm like, new wine into old lambskins.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It'll burst and you'll ruin the wine and skins.
Which I never understood until I watched that happen in real life.
Exactly.
You have to actually watch someone pour wine into an old lambskin and watch it burst. Like, it actually bursts.
Yeah.
It's wild to me.
Yeah. No, you're right. Like, you're absolutely right. I agree with everything you say. It is difficult to be a priest and to watch a couple come in and go through the motions as they prepare for marriage, because you know what they're about to experience to a certain degree.
Right.
I don't know how their life is going to go, or what tragedies are going to happen, or what the highs and lows, how many kids, what the joys are going to be. I don't know.
Right.
I can assume based on the answers they're giving me.
Right.
But the life together is a continuous joyfulness and also a continuous mourning and death.
Right.
That's what compromise is. It's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
And if you're compromising, you're going to give something up. And if you're going to give something up, there's a little death that happens to you.
And you see, even that, you and I always disagree on this. Because like, compromise involves giving up and getting back something. From a mental health standpoint,
Okay.
compromise is you give up something and you get it back.
From
Like-
the religious standpoint, that's bargaining.
Right.
Like a transactional relationship.
Right. But from a mental health standpoint, if I'm going to compromise in conflict management, it's I have to give up a little bit and then I get back a little bit. And if I don't do that, then I'm accommodating.
Ah.
And so those become
Okay.
two very different modes of things.
Yeah.
And so like when I hear like, oh, you got to compromise, I'm like, you're asking me to accommodate. That's what you're asking me to do. You're just like accommodate. And I'm like, I've been accommodating. And so it becomes something like, oh, okay, cool. Okay. Yeah. But like, it does become frustrating when you are that person who's sitting there accommodating constantly. And you're told like, well, just compromise. Like compromise what? Because I'm not getting anything back in return.
Yeah.
I'm just giving. And then like, what happens?
And see, if you and I were both a man and a woman getting married with those viewpoints, don't make it weird, right?
Pause.
If we were about to enter into a relationship, a sacrament, married in the Catholic Church, we would be like oil and water on this viewpoint. And it would come back to bite us and to be an issue later on.
I can tell you, when Brittany and I were going to get married, I flat out told her, I'm like, listen, when you compromise with someone, you're giving up and you're getting back. This is my understanding of it. When you compromise, this is this. When you accommodate, this is this. When you collaborate, you are working together. It doesn't matter who came up with the idea. It doesn't matter if it's the best idea you move forward with. Like that is collaboration. You're moving with that direction because it's a good idea. Who cares who gets the credit for it? It doesn't matter. You're just moving with that direction. And so like I went through all of these things with her and I said, like, what is your understanding of these words? What does this mean to you? And she's like, I didn't think about it. And so she had to think
Most
about
people
it.
don't.
Yeah.
We do because it's our profession to do so.
it is.
But most people are just going through life until they get beat within an inch of their life on this left-hand side of the road by some chick who wants to go ahead and marry him. I'm still thinking about this.
If you haven't listened to that episode, go
to the
ahead.
last episode.
Yeah, go to that episode. What did we call that?
I don't know. You're the one who names these things.
Yeah, reform toxin.
Reform toxin.
Yeah, that's what the
listen to
episode's
that.
called.
It's
Yeah,
a
listen to
trip.
Reform
I
Toxin.
went through a lot of emotions. I'm still going through a lot of emotions. Anyway, I'm sorry. I cut you off. Continue.
Yeah, you're good. But I mean, like, to a certain degree, though, like you look at that and you go, well, then how does expectation come into play? It's like, well, listen, if I have an expectation, it's my responsibility to express my expectation, but it's not Brittany's responsibility to fulfill that expectation, right? It like that's the other side of it too. Just because I have an expectation doesn't mean she's now required to fulfill my expectation.
Yeah, that's true.
Like if I'm expecting something to happen, I'm like, hey, I'm expecting this to happen. And now it's let's enter into a discussion because there's going to be conflict here.
Yeah.
Because I have a thought and you might have a thought. Or if you didn't have a thought about it, take some time to think about it and let me know what you think about this particular thing. Because what I'm expressing is an expectation I have. That expectation is now going to either transform itself into a rule that we have for our marriage or our relationship, or it's going to transform itself into like some type of guideline that we just apply to particular situations because it's like, hey, this is what we're going to do. Case in point, if I told Brittany, one of my expectations is that we go to confession every single week. I don't care if we do it as a couple. I don't care if we do it separately. I don't care. But as a family unit, at some point, we have to be able to say like, yeah, we went to confession. Mm-hmm. And so change your schedule, do what you got to do. But I'm saying like that is important to go to confession once a week. She's like, no. I said, okay. And guess what happened? I went to confession every week. And some weeks she joined me. Other weeks she did not.
Yeah.
Did that rock our relationship? Because she's like, oh my gosh, I had an expectation. She's not fulfilling it. No, because the expectation I had was, hey, this is what I'm expecting to do. I'm verbalizing something, a standard that I'm holding for myself. Mm-hmm. And I'm saying, hey, I want to maintain the standard as a couple, but you're not required to do it, but let's have a discussion about it.
Yeah. And the discussion was probably had. And
we eventually,
more understanding.
Yeah,
right?
but we eventually, but it wasn't right away.
Of course.
She was like, no. I'm like, why? She's like, listen, I go to confession like once a month. If that, maybe a couple, like once a quarter. Like she's like, I guarantee you go like once a quarter. I'm not going that long without confession, but like once a week sounds gratuitous. And I'm like, if you want to talk about it, we can. And she's like, fine. And she came with very legitimate questions. She came with questions. She's like, why do you want to go once a week? Why? And I'm like, oh, the reason why I want to go once a week is because every single week I find myself in a state where I need a reset for one reason or another. I get bogged down with people's things that they disclose to me and everything like that. And then on top of that, I look at my own actions and I'm very critical of my own actions. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, I see myself in a much different light than I would normally if I wasn't doing the line of work that I'm doing. And so I'm very vigilant about the things that I'm saying and I'm doing. And rather than keeping that on my heart and waiting a whole quarter where I know I'm going to forget something.
That's fair.
I'm going to do it that week. And then I know I can start the next week fresh and I can get communion free of charge. Nothing on my conscience. Great. And she's like, oh, that's why? I'm like, yeah. Why? What did you think? And she's like, oh, I thought you were just trying to be like a religious a-hole. And I'm like, oh, no. Like, that's why I'm still doing it regardless of if you do it or not.
Yeah.
And she's like, oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I just thought because I saw the chips in the counter. Obviously, he's making bad choices.
He's making bad choices. No, but I mean, like, that was the discussion we had. It was the discussion we had. And it wasn't like, and it was multiple months. It was multiple months because we got married in October. I told her in January of the following year. And then it wasn't until like after Claire was born. So January of the year after Claire was born that she started going every week. But that was on her own volition.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, cool. But that wasn't like, this has to happen. Otherwise you can't be with me. Mm-hmm. Like, that's not a...
Or if you don't do this, then our marriage is a sham, or everything is shaken. Or you must be hiding something.
That's the other thing. It's just like I never understood, and maybe you can explain this to me because, like, from a common sense standpoint, you got what you wanted anyway. So I don't understand how one thing invalidates everything.
Well, if you put so much stock in the journey, I mean, the journey is important, but from a young age, you tell a young lady that, hey, you're going to be you're a princess, and you're going to find a Prince Charming. You're going to put on a beautiful dress on a beautiful day, and it's going to be your grandmother's dress. It's going to be altered just a little bit, so it's just modest enough so it looks really good. And it's going to be the history of a family coming all together, and the new part of the family that's coming in, the new tapestry that's being woven in, and he's going to walk down the aisle. You're going to walk down the aisle. You're going to see him. He's going to start bawling, and that's exactly what needs to happen because the last 3 bridesmaids that you went to their wedding, you were bridesmaid for. That's what happened at their wedding, so that's exactly what needs to happen at yours because that's the perfect wedding and that's the tier. And then when you guys are going to kiss, and then everything's going to be wonderful and perfect because the exact venue that you wanted, the exact convertible that you wanted, everything is just like a perfect story. And that means that you're going to have a perfect marriage. And from the guy's perspective, you're a charmer. You're a guy. You had a past. You had a lot of fun in college and stuff like that. But you married this one girl who she is your love of your life. She's your best friend. She's your confidant. She's your everything. You don't even need friends, so you don't need anybody else to ever be a confidant for you. And you're going to come together and you're going to say, "This is going to be my person. I'm going to spend the rest of my life with. She is my everything." You're going to have to make sure that you cry at the day of your mass, the day of your wedding. Everything's going to come together. He's standing up, walking around, but I'm still going.
I can't.
And so it all builds up.
I can't, man.
And then what happens after the honeymoon? If you put that much stock within that day and that journey and don't put much into the sacrament part of, hey, I need to be ready to have this person not just be within my dwelling space, not just be within my mind, not just know my heart, but I'm trying to get you to heaven. I'm trying to make sure that you're my other part of my flesh. You and I are going to be one flesh. We're going to walk together, and we're going to go to heaven together. We're not going to be married in heaven, but hey, like you and I, we're going to make this journey of life together, and we're going to expand our families, be open to life if we can. That's what this is. It's so much more than just one day or just the last couple months before the big day. I spent 11 years preparing to become a priest. And can I tell you everything that happened on my ordination day? No, I can't. I was so scared. I was so nervous. And for nothing, really.
Yeah. I just... Okay. There's so many things. I had to stand up. I just... Like, I'm listening to you. I'm like, oh my gosh, no. No, it's so much stuff. Like, there's so many myths out there that just corrupt the relationship as a whole. We got to make a whole episode of Mythbusters.
Catholic
like,
Mythbusters?
Yeah, like relationship Mythbusters. Like, the next one has to be like relationship Mythbusters or something like that. I don't know. Because really quickly, the worst thing that you can tell a married couple is a happy wife, happy life. Every single person that utters the phrase happy wife, happy life, you are setting up a couple for failure. You're setting up a couple for failure because effectively what you are saying is that man has absolutely no agency outside of being a wish fulfillment genie for his wife. You are a horrible individual for doing that because what you are doing is planting the seed that she can never do anything wrong. That's horrible. You are horrible for saying that type of stuff. It's not funny. It's not. I have sat down and I've watched couples year after year, session after session, like relationships that should not be on the brink of despair. But because they believe all this crap that people fill them every single year, oh, well, he should be doing this and that. No, I'm sorry. He shouldn't be making $100,000 and doing this and doing, and you should keep all your money. Are you dumb? No, you both are married, meaning that, hey, if he got something, you got something. You got something, he got something. It's not he got a bill and now he has to figure out how to pay the bill. No, it's you both have a bill now. And prior to getting that bill, maybe you should have sat down and talked about it to make sure whether it fits within the budget, the vision, the direction that you're going in. Stop it. Just stop it. Like, I'm sick and tired of it. Because this is something that my heart actually breaks for, because watching it for the last decade plus of just couple after couple after couple after couple of just simply just falling apart because they believe in these damn lies that get told to them. And the thing that pisses me off the most is these lies come from the Catholics. It's not even a lot of this stuff is Catholic couples, mind you, that were tired of being told all this crap. And they're finally well, this is our last shot to make this work. Otherwise, we're getting a divorce. And I'm just okay. Because as a counselor, it doesn't matter to me what you are. Because you walk in through the door, my first mode is safety. My second mode is well-being. My third mode is what's your direction? Where do you want to go? And let me hold up this mirror to help you get to there the quickest way possible. That is it. That is it. And so for me to sit here and hear a lot of stuff, and I know you're not saying it, and this is a little bit of just pent up frustration on my part.
Of course.
But it's just yo, man, it kills me. It kills me because there's so many people that would be in so many productive marriages if we just cut the crap. And our tons of Catholic communities would be so much better if we stop feeding into this crap. Because that's what it is. It's crap. It hasn't helped anybody. It really hasn't. Because you know what? The couple that stayed together for 50, 60 years wasn't saying that crap that you're trying to tell this new couple.
That's true.
You know, this sense of entitlement that you have when you put down your husband and you say oh, well, he's just another kid. That crap, when you talk poorly about your husband or you talk poorly about your wife, and you don't you don't do anything for her, right? Oh, well, no, she knows I love her. How, Sway? How does she know you love her? When was the last time you did anything? On the flip side of it, when was the last time you did something for him? Why does he have to be the one to initiate everything? Why does she have to be the one that has to wrangle the kids and do shit? What is wrong with you? Like, what was the point of getting married in the first place if at the end of the day you're going to just let the other person sit there and do everything? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. And it's the most infuriating thing. And when you sit in my office and you look at me in the face and say, they are the problem, and proceed to tell me all the things that you're doing that is contributing to an environment that's not only toxic, but vile, and you're not even looking at your own decision making. And when I look you in the face and say, so how does that work into contributing a proper environment? You go, well, come on. I work hard. Come on.
Everybody feels better now.
It just gets me sometimes, man. We have to stay calm like all the time.
Yeah. Like both sides of it. Like we can't. This is not to say that we hate anybody that's coming into our office.
No.
But it can become a lot because you're listening to the same thing over and over and over again. And all I want to do, all you want to do is just point at it and say, that's it. That's what you're talking about.
Right.
But a lot of our profession, our job, our vocation is allowing these individuals to see it themselves because they're here because someone else pointed at it and said, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And they said, no, it's not. I refuse to see it.
Yeah.
So they have to see it on their own. The hope is that they see it before they hit the cliff.
Yeah.
Say my name, don't be scared now. Let's talk about it. Don't hold back, put it all out. I wanna know what's on your mind. You can't keep playing with the time. Let's talk about it. We don't talk at all. Tell me, baby, what's the word on the street? Is it love or is it lies beneath our feet? I'm holding on, but the world feels incomplete.
All right, just like last time, word on the street. These are hot takes. These are kind of fun. These are a little bit spicy. Ready? Here's your hot take. If your profile pic has more filters than a coffee shop, I can't tell if you're a person or a Snapchat experiment. Show me the real you, and I'll decide if it's worth my time.
Fair enough.
Okay. Next. If I say grace before dinner and you roll your eyes, it's not going to work. My faith isn't a phase, and neither is the check I'm covering.
It's not a phase, Mom.
Bro. My faith isn't a phase, and neither is the check I'm covering. If your first question is, how tall are you? I'm answering with, what's your weight? Only one of us can change, and it's not me.
That's it.
So I guess you're really not working that hard on yourself. Equality works both ways.
I would not suggest anyone to say that. Don't say that.
In light of everything, like, if we're just talking about all this stuff, I'm like, listen. Okay, hold on. When I ask, what are you looking for in a guy? And you say, someone holy and fun. I hear, please be Catholic and also rock me like a hurricane, respectfully. Challenge accepted.
Well,
Is she wrong, though? Is he wrong, though?
Well, listen, I don't know.
Because what's the fun for? What's the fun for? Because we ain't talking about Chuck E. Cheese's. We ain't talking about Chuck E. Cheese's. We ain't talking about Dave and Buster's. We ain't talking about, like, hey, yo, they play video games. Oh, they watch anime. Like, no, we ain't talking about that.
Anime is pretty great.
Yeah, but that's not the type of fun she's talking about. Because why did she put it in there? It's like, because what are you looking for in a guy? Someone who's fun. Yeah, yeah.
But in order to have fun, you got to be able to have fun too. Mm-hmm. You got to bring something into it.
Nah.
Respectfully.
I like her. He's like, yeah, please be Catholic and rock me like a hurricane. Respectfully. Challenge accepted. I don't need you to know every saint, but if your reaction to St. Anthony is, who's that? I might just lose you, and not even he can help me find you.
It's clever. That's a bar.
That is actually pretty good. I might use that.
I might just lose you, and not even he can help me find you.
I mean, it's also a cultural thing where you pray to St. Anthony in order to find things. I didn't know that until like my second year being Catholic.
But then again, you also like converted.
I converted.
So like that's not.
But that is to say that I'm a person who's coming into the church, and that's something I didn't hear for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not like a known thing.
Which, mind you, for as much people who claim that we pray to all these different saints, it's like we don't pray to saints.
Exactly.
So
They're
like,
intercessors.
And so if you, who converted, didn't hear it until like, you're like, who's Anthony? Can you check? Like, who is this guy?
That's like if you want to start dating some person and you see how beautiful they look, and you're like, hey, yo, Anthony, put in a word for me. What? Put in a word for me.
Hey, yo, Anthony.
Introduce us. Come on now.
Yeah. Anthony's like, hey, Heather. Listen, I can't lie. So I'm just going to talk about the things he does well. He's a hard worker. So he has that going for him. He has a house. So you're not going to be wet.
So if I decide to do an audit of his work, is it going to come back as him being a hard worker?
Listen, the way federal laws work, you can take 30 minutes to an hour for lunch. And sometimes because you're a salary employee, that extends out.
The length of that answer's let me know. Is letting me know. Because I've been in jobs before where I don't get paid. So I know what that jargon looks like.
Oh, shoot. All right. Last one. This is just, Catholic men's thoughts on dating, relationships, and everything else in between. Finally, don't ask me if I like bad girls. Is MLK black? Did Jay-Z marry Beyonce?
Yo.
Is Kanye a genius and certified insane? I just like my sanity, life, car, I just like my sanity, life, car, and worldview intact. So that's why we're talking in the church singles group right now on a Saturday night, rather than me throwing my hands up to get low at the club.
There's a lot to unpack there. There's a lot to unpack there. I heard a lot. I experienced a lot. I felt a lot. Wow.
Hey. Oh, jeez. Get low in the background. Dun, dun, dun.
I don't think I can do that.
You'd be rather that than sitting there going just like, from the east is from the west.
He's in a different stage of his life.
Yeah,
That's
he
okay.
says, I just like my sanity, life, car, and worldview to be intact. That's why we're talking right now in the singles group on a Saturday night.
That's good self-knowledge if you ask me. He knows exactly what he wants. He's like, yo, I've been to these other places. I know what that looks like. I don't want that no more. I want stability.
Guarantee you she got pissed.
Probably.
It's just like,
She's probably the first chick who said, I want fun.
but I really want some fun.
Like, you know what's really fun? You know what's really fun?
Taxes.
No, being able to go out with someone you trust and then come back to your nice warm bed before 10 p.m. and it's stable. It's a place that you left exactly the way it was. It was clean. That's fun.
Dog, I'm just gonna let you know this right now. On a Saturday night, kids went to bed at like 8. Brittany made some pumpkin bars. Fresh, dietarily compliant pumpkin bars because, my stomach just beat. I poured a glass of wine for both of us. She took 2 sips. I finished her wine and I finished mine. Also compliant with, state laws.
Of course.
Men up to 4 glasses of wine in one day. That's it. Hey, that's the rule.
That's the rule.
That's the rule, right? No more than 2 back to back, because that would be bad. You don't want to do that. So I had 2 glasses of wine. Her and I look at each other and we're like, this is nice. And we didn't say anything for 45 minutes. And we ate those pumpkin bars. Ate half a tray of pumpkin bars.
Golly.
together. I put the tray back. I turned around. She had already wrapped herself in 3-4 blankets, rolled over it, and said, "Can we pray?" I said, "Yes, baby." Father, Son, Holy Spirit, we prayed. And I laid down. And when I tell you that was the most exciting evening I had.
That sounds like love. That sounds like that's the love that people strive for. That's the love that newlyweds don't even know they want yet.
Right? I was just like, I was at peace. The house was quiet. My bills were paid. Mm-hmm. I heard the heater kick on. I was like, you know what? It's all right. Everything's gonna be right. And you know what? For all of you listening today, you too can be all right. If you give us $42.99, send your free will offering, and we will send you the blessed water. Because Jesus Christ loves you. Because you don't need oil. Because you have the oil inside of you.
Because you're bacon?
Because you got to be like bacon. Because when they pierced him, both water and blood came out.
But not grease.
But when they anointed David, they anointed him with oil. And so when they pierce you and they come after you and your household,
they always do.
Just let that oil flow. And just like the bacon tastes good, leave us a 5-star review, because I can't handle anything below that. That's CaptainNotebook.org/F2F. Hey, support them, and by supporting them, you support us. Thank you so much, Captain Notebook, for giving us the platform. And to all of you, we love you. You are very special.
Go forth and bear good fruit.
And give me that oil! That's good.
Welcome to Father, where life and faith meet.
Father to Father is a production of Spirit Stream Studios. All rights reserved.